former Foreign Minister Alexander Downer, live from London. Good to talk to you again, Alexander. Just tell us about the motivations behind a change like this. Labor will say it's in sync with governments in Europe, including in the UK, but what message does it send?
Well, it breaks the bipartisanship that there's been in Australia, where we've had a very rational policy on the Middle East. And in particular, we have taken the view that we support a two-state solution, but it's for Israel and the Palestinians to negotiate the boundaries of those two states. That's one of the key issues. If you then deem that any settlements in the West Bank, and indeed the whole of the West Bank as well as Gaza, is definitely Palestinian territory, and therefore where the Israelis occupy part of that territory, that's occupied territory and it's illegal, then you're prejudging the negotiations on two states. So it's completely absurd to say you favour the negotiation of a two-state solution, but you yourself are going to decide legally where the boundaries between the two states are. It just doesn't make any sense. So this
you're spot on. The most important thing here is a border, and how do you define it? And yet Australia is suggesting that that's all settled, and that even leads to the absurd situation where under this sort of a ruling, you're effectively saying that East Jerusalem belongs to the Palestinians, but you refuse to recognise that West Jerusalem can be the capital of Israel.
Yes, well, exactly. It's just full of absurdity. And a lot of the international positions on this question are full of absurdity. Look, the fact is, Israeli Prime Minister after Israeli Prime Minister has offered to negotiate the boundaries with the Palestinians. There was the famous Camp David negotiations when Bill Clinton was the president, when Olmert was the Prime Minister of Israel later, he offered to negotiate the boundaries. The Palestinians will not negotiate. This is the problem. And therefore, for the international community to be defining where those boundaries actually are is frankly an absurdity if you believe in a negotiated two-state solution. So anyway, we always had a very rational position on this, and Labor supported the position that we had for many years, and now they've broken the bipartisanship for domestic political reasons, presumably.
Yeah, well, this is the point, right? That's the big picture overview from you, and thank you very much for that. But you've watched Labor wrestle with these issues in Australian politics for a long while. Why is this happening? What's playing out within the Labor Party?
Well, I think within the Labor Party there's a body of opinion that supports the kind of position that I would take and the coalition more broadly would take. But then there is a hard left in the Labor Party, which has always taken the radical position of the more extreme Palestinians. And I have to say, I think that's tied up with the nature of some of the sub-branches of the Labor Party in different parts of Australia, not least in Sydney, where there's a desire to appease a particular ethnic group, and particular political flavours have to be satiated. So it's all tied up with internal Labor Party politics. It's very divided on these issues.